couple of answers to that. So first of all, yes, HUL's might in India and the fact that it has been historically a very, very for India by Indians company. Rural has always been a part of the DNA, right? I have done sales in bullock carts across the length and breadth of India. There are people who have done the same as well earlier and later than me, right? So the first thing, I think what has happened, there are two things that have happened. When you say reach, there are two ways to look at reach. First is reaching a consumer in rural India or tier 2, tier 3 is easier than it ever was, right? When I started my career, I still was one of the probably the last brand managers to sign off wall painting visuals, right? Because the only way to reach some of the very deep rural areas was through wall paintings, right? Remember that Ashoka's edicts were still ongoing when I had started my journey in marketing. That has completely gone away. Anyone can reach anyone wherever they are. YouTube's significant revenue or watch time comes today from rural India, right? So the digital revolution that India has seen with one of the lowest per GB cost of data that India enjoys at this point of time, the rural entry of that barrier of entry is completely gone when you are talking about reaching a consumer. So can sitting in Kolkata you reach a teenager in Bastar? The answer is yes. Can you go to Chambal? The answer is yes. Can you go down south to Dindigul? The answer is yes. That barrier of entry is completely gone. But you have to be very clear on who that person it is that you want to reach. So that's the first reach. The second reach, however, remains a big challenge, which is accessibility to your product to that consumer, right? One of the things which works is how will you reach your product, and again, whatever your product is, how will you get that product to the consumer in the cornermost parts of India? Yeah. So one of the things you will see both Amazon and Flipkart do very well. And by the way, one of the reasons why US postal services are all profitable is because Indian postal service reaches everywhere, right? So that's the only one reach medium as of today of physical products, which is unparalleled, right? Indian postal services will reach everywhere.
Yes.
Now the question is, what is your product and how do you want that product to reach the consumer that you want to reach, right? So that's the first check that you need to do, because logistics becomes a problem. And the second thing that needs to happen is that does your product require a supply chain that, because you said a lot of food entrepreneurs are on this, does your supply chain allow you to send it to a set of consumers who are in rural? Yeah. So that I think is the second point. And the third point, which is a reality and which you will have to figure out, is do you believe that the cost that you are charging for your product is going to be acceptable to the consumer you are selling it to? India is one of the most value conscious marketers, right? One of the best advertisements Maruti had ever done in their lives. I think there was a campaign, please, it's on YouTube, please have a look at it. It's called Kitna Deti Hai. So there is the advertisement goes something like this. There is NASA is showcasing a huge spaceship that is supposed to take men to the moon and back. And then an Indian group of tourists are clicking pictures. And then one of them asks, Kitna deti hai? Because that entire idea of understanding what the value of a product is India is one of the highest in the world to understand value. So you have to be very clear that you are offering that value to the consumer.